Hey guys, Dustin here, CEO of 630. Today I'm joined with Peter, our head of customer experience and quality control. And today we're here to talk to you about the differences between the around the block women's cruiser and the women's cruiser. So stick with us. Okay, as I said, I'm here with Peter, our head of quality control and customer experience. Peter's been in the bike industry for over 20 years, from a bike mechanic to a store manager to a sales rep to here with us now. So we're going to get Pete's expert opinion on the differences between these new models, how they vary, riding positions, the whole 9 yards, so everyone can better understand which bike's right for them. Now, I'll kick us off. A lot of times we compare bikes, there's actually major differences. On these bikes, there's not major differences. So one thing I'll just start off by saying is the riding position of these two bikes is exactly the same. You can see the frames are actually exact. The frames are the same frames, just different interpretations, different colorways, some different specs, things like that. So handlebars same, tires the same, treads the same, rims a little bit different. Pete can get into that. But in terms of the feel, when you sit and your back and your arms, identical. So I'll toss it off to Pete here. Pete, you want to dive into a little bit more of the specifics on what makes these two bikes different?
Yeah, for sure. This is one where the nuances matter. Like Dusty said, these aren't vastly different bikes, and they both do share that classic cruiser frame that's been around for so long. This model of the Around the Block does not come with fenders, although you can add fenders to the Around the Block. Other versions of it do. You'll see with the women's cruiser, and the women's cruiser comes in a whole lot of different variations, different color palettes and different designs. There's a lot of design elements and design that goes into the women's cruiser that you'll see. So like with this one, we spec'd it out with the the brown seat and grips that match, and then some upgraded barefoot pedals here. One improvement that's hard to see to the novice is that these are upgraded rims. These are stronger rims here on the women's cruiser. And and then, like I said, the design elements, the solid chainring, just stuff that kind of elevates the look of the bike and the style. And you'll see it with our Paisley, with the Breeze, with the Serenity, with the other models. They've all had that special attention to detail to make the bike cute.
Yeah. One thing, so I'll point out on the seats, the women's cruiser has an upgraded seat. You can see from the stitching, the materials, it's a little bit higher end saddle. The materials and actually the factory they come from is different. So you are going to get an upgraded saddle on the women's cruiser versus the Around the Block. One similarity from an option perspective is both of these bikes are available in single, 3, 7, and 21 speed. The colors get a little more limited with the women's cruiser when you move up to the 21 speeds. Same with the 7 speed, but both are available in the same options. Now, the Around the Block actually does come with a rack. Women's cruiser does not come with a rack. That's one difference. But the other thing is when we look at our bikes, we like to think of them in 3 different spec levels, sometimes 4. We go fanatical, dedicated, and casual. Now, what we're looking at here is the dedicated version of the Around the Block and the fanatical version of the women's cruiser from a spec perspective. We actually don't spec the Around the Block at the fanatical level. It's just for this type of bike, and the use cases, usually these specs are good for the rider base we found. Now, the women's cruiser, we've just tried to do something a little bit extra for cruiser, make it look a little bit nicer, feel a little bit better. So you're going to get a little bit more in the specs, like Pete said, with the rims, the crank. Also, the pedals on the women's cruiser are an upgraded pedal. They have a metal frame versus a plastic, entirely plastic molded pedal on the Around the Block. So small differences, not major. I would say the biggest distinguisher is the design element of it. If you like the look of the women's cruiser, if you like the look of the Around the Block, performance, it will vary slightly. It's not going to be a major differentiator. That's that's the truth of the designs. With that said, some other small differences. This has an integrated kickstand. It's just welded into the frame. This has a removable. Both are actually removable, but this one's a little bit more challenging to remove. This has a removable kickstand. And then in terms of the brakes, the braking is all the same across the speed options. Single speed is both coaster, 3 speed is front handbrake, rear coaster, 7 and 21s are front and rear handbrakes. So, what do you think, Pete? Does that pretty much sum it up?
Covers it right there, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, if you have any other questions specifically about these two bikes, please comment below. We're happy to answer them. You can also send us an email, the team at sixthreezero.com, or call us, 310-982-2877. We're here, happy to answer your questions. But don't forget, most importantly, take the body fit quiz on our website. It's our proprietary algorithm to fit a bike specifically to your lifestyle and your body. It's going to ask you questions about your riding habits, your body type, your measurements, and it's going to take that, use the proprietary algorithm, and suggest the right bike for you. And don't forget, here's the most important thing. We have a 365-day return policy. So at any point in 365 days, if you don't love your bike, send it back, no questions asked, no money out of your pocket. So, thanks for staying with us, and don't forget, it's your journey, your experience. Enjoy the ride.